What's up guys, it's Project, and today I'm going to show you how I got back-to-back shinies in Pokemon Legends Arceus. So if you're ready to get some shinies, then smash that like button and let's begin. First off, here is a chart with shiny data from Anubis on Twitter, basically covering the odds of getting a shiny in PLA. As you can see, a 1 in 4,000 chance for a shiny to appear in random encounters, so about the same as Sword and Shield. But since we encounter way more Pokemon more frequently than it feels like the odds of getting one in the wild is easier. I even got a red shiny Gyarados in my last stream just playing through the game normally, and this was before getting my research of them to level 10, which would have halved the shiny chance to 1 out of 2k as you see there. But that's not the important part. What we want instead is mass outbreaks, a new feature in PLA that gives you a 1 out of 158 chance to encounter a shiny. So literally 12 times easier to get a shiny than in the wild. So your best chance of getting shiny Pokemon is with mass outbreaks, which should appear around or after beating Noble Cleaver in the story. Luckily you can hard trigger outbreaks, and the more areas you have unlocked in the game, the more chances and choices of Pokemon you could choose from. So ideally, if you want to go shiny hunting, wait till you unlock all the maps. But all the methods I'll talk about today all revolve around one key component: Jubilife Village. Every time you go back to Village, it generates a new map instance. From outbreaks to alphas to even shinies. It is imperative to go back here each time to shuffle the map seed to something new. So, to trigger outbreaks, it's as simple as going to a map area, then immediately going back to Jubilife, and you repeat that back and forth until you spawn a mass outbreak. Now the outbreak will only show on the map once you go back to Jubilife, as you see here with my Gassy outbreak. If say you didn't want a Gassy outbreak, if you go to another map region without an outbreak, it should remove the current outbreaks from your map. So do that to reshuffle till you get your desired outbreak. But once you do get the outbreak you want, now the outbreak shiny method begins. So step 1, turn off autosave. Autosave will screw with things in the method, so you want to have it off to control where you save. Make sure to also bring food, smoke balls, and lots of the fastball line, the ones that can throw at a far distance. These help a ton with catching Pokemon that aggro or get scared easily, so you minimize having to battle them, which slows down your shiny hunting time. Step number 2, go into the map with the outbreak and save as soon as you enter. But after that, go check the outbreak. Outbreaks consist of around 12 Pokemon in total in waves of 4. So the goal is to whittle down the number till only 3 remain, as that means no more are spawning, which if a shiny hasn't spawned at that point, that means the run is a dud. Now step 3, if the run's a dud, hard quit the game. This will force the game back to the point where you saved at the beginning of step 2, before you engage with the outbreak. And that is important for being able to repeat the outbreak at its full 12 slots. Not only that, but it's a safeguard for the outbreak being present for the next step. Step number 4, exit to Jubilife Village from the camp. When doing this, you have a good chance of keeping the outbreak on return to the village, but there's also a smaller chance to lose it, which is why I said to save in step 2 within the map that has the outbreak currently, because if you do get unlucky and lose it, you can once again hard quit, go back to the camp, and then return to Jubilife again until you successfully retain the outbreak status when viewing the map in Jubilife, which if it's still there, then you repeat step 2 to 4 over and over till you get your shiny. So you go back into the map, you save, you check the outbreak, you quit if no shiny, etc, etc. And that is how you do the outbreak shiny hunting method. The average time it takes to get a shiny with this method is anywhere from 1 to 3 hours average, depending on RNG. Now, if you do encounter a shiny you're unable to catch, like Abra or something that ran away before you can do anything, don't panic. Since the seed of the map was fixed as soon as you entered earlier, otherwise we wouldn't be resetting like this, it'll appear again if you hard quit and go back to the base camp save. Once you load back in, just run back to the same spot that the shiny was at, and it should still be there again, as long as you didn't go back to Jubilife or save after the shiny escaped. The only saves you should ever do is the step 2 base camp save and then saving after you get a shiny. Only those two, capiche? Next, I'll talk about how you can get multiple shinies from the same outbreak like I got with my Starly run. So here's what you need to know. As said, outbreaks consist of 12 Pokemon. These do not replenish to full if you save at any point after defeating, scaring, or catching them. It'll deduct whatever Pokemon you engage with from the total amount, lowering the numbers on the next attempt. So the strategy here is if you're able to get a shiny on the first 4 or 6 Pokemon that spawn, only catch the shiny, save, and then head back to camp and do step 4 again. If you still have the outbreak once you go back to Jubilife, you can still attempt to get more shinies by going back to the map with the remaining amount of Pokemon. And luckily, I got a second shiny Starly on the first wave of the second run. So this is a useful strategy if you want multiple shinies, let's say for Pokemon with multiple forms, like Eevee, so you don't have to cycle outbreaks over and over trying to get the same Pokemon to appear. However, if you get the shiny towards the later half of the outbreak, then I would just try to get a new outbreak so you can go back to 12 possible rolls instead of like 4 or 6. Now, sometimes alphas can appear in outbreaks and they can be shiny too. Obviously, if it's shiny, then you won the lottery, baby, as alpha shinies are super hard to get. But don't get too excited for a normal alpha. I would only catch normie alphas in an outbreak if it's on like the first wave and you can single it out, return to camp, save, and can still do the outbreak with 11 potential shiny chances from the method I told you just before this. But otherwise ignore alphas if they spawn too late in the waves. And lastly, as far as obtaining shiny alphas, the GOAT Pokemon of the game, it will be very hard. My advice is when doing normal outbreak runs, try to pass nearby alphas to check if they might be shiny. That way you're not just shiny hunting your outbreak, but also the nearby alphas. 2 Pidgeys, 1 stone. But otherwise, unlike outbreaks, maps are randomized whenever you enter them. So you can simply save in Jubilife, go out to an alpha Pokemon's location, check if they're shiny. If they're not, hard quit the game, reload back into Jubilife, and repeat. Now, as said before, if you got a research level 10 Pokedex entry on that Pokemon, your odds of a shiny are 1 in 2,000. But if you get a check mark on all the tasks in that Pokedex entry, you will get a perfect research level benchmark, which will make that specific Pokemon's shiny chance a 1 in 1,000 chance, which is doubly better than the simple level 10 entry. So if you want to maximize your chances at a particular shiny alpha, I do recommend getting a perfect entry before attempting that. Like if you wanted shiny Alpha Cleaver, for example, then you'd get Scyther's entry perfected and then check its alpha near their arena in the first map over and over till you see it sparkle like Mr. Clean. And yeah, that is all the info you need to know regarding shiny hunting. The Shining Charm does exist in the game, but it requires a level 10 research on every single Pokemon in the game, including Spiritomb, so definitely not something you can unlock that easily, but it will help out if you're an avid hunter. So hope the guy was helpful, and if so, make sure to save that like button. Comment down below what was your first shiny you caught in PLA, or what shiny do you want the most in the game. And if you want, go ahead and subscribe for more Legends Arceus epicness.